Yeah, actually, instead of clapping, I thought we could start with a mudra.
Yes.
I mean, clapping is a mudra also, isn't it? But, you know this mudra? Okay, this is probably the best known mudra.
Namaste
And
one.
namaste, and maybe just chant Om together 3 times. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So I always like to start with chanting because it sort of builds a group energy, right? Even though we don't really know each other very well. And this mudra, that I think everyone's at least seen this, if not practiced it. Right? Of course, if you go to India, this is how people greet each other. And the name Namaste, right? Nama, they usually translate into English as name, but it means more than name means in English. You know, in English, your name is, maybe there was some film star the month you were born that your mother liked, so you got that name. So it's just something she gave you. Your name doesn't really have a meaning. Whereas in Indian tradition, your name signifies your essence. So when you join your hands like this and you salute someone, what you're doing is you're saluting their essence. We can say, my essence greets your essence. Or in yoga philosophy, we say the individual self and the universal self, really, they're the same. So we acknowledge that. So everyone's here for the mudra talk, right? You're using your hands, different hand gestures, to seal the energy into different channels. And the word mudra really means seal. You know, like you seal an envelope or you seal up the window in the wintertime. So what you're doing is you're working with the prana, with the subtle energy in the body, and you're trying to seal it into specific channels. And by using your hands, it's a very good way of doing it, because most of the major meridians in your body either start or finish in your hands or feet. Now, it's difficult to join your toes in different ways, but we can do it with the hands. We can join the different energies together, and by joining the fingers in different ways, we can create different energy channels, different movement of energy within the body. Right? So we all use gestures. You know, you shake hands with someone when you meet them. Now, I know a lot of people say it's because in medieval times you had to prove you're not carrying a weapon. But I think it's more than that, because we shake hands at the end also. We shake on a deal, right? If we agree on something, we shake hands to seal the deal. It's like we exchange energy with the other person in order to seal the deal, right? You know, we use common gestures like shh, or what, right, or right. You know where this one comes from? No one saw the film Gladiator? You know, where they, yeah, let him live, or nope, kill him. Right? So we still do that. If we like something or someone, nope. Right? Or it's okay. Or, you know, this, here's hoping. Or if you do it behind your back, kids do this all the time. It means you don't really mean what you're saying. Or, you know this one? Victory or peace, depending how old you are. Or this one, you know? No one saw Star Trek? Right? Vulcan greeting, live long and prosper. right? Which is actually a real mudra. Because Leonard Nimoy, who played Mr. Spock, he studied Kabbalah. And in Kabbalah, well, they do it with both hands. I think he simplified it a bit. And this is a mudra. It looks like a W, right? But it actually stands for the Hebrew letter Shin, which stands for Shaddai, Almighty God. And this is how the priests used to bless people. If you go to the Rudolf Steiner anthroposophicists, they still bless people like this. The Pope blesses like this. Right? So he's got two fingers up and together, and the other three, which we say stands for the Trinity. Right? He stands on the balcony in St. Peter's Square and he blesses people. In Indian tradition, you see people, the blessing is like this, either, not just in Indian, all Asian. The Buddha, he's got his hand like this, or Shiva, different deities, they have their hand like this. This is called Abhaya Mudra. Abhaya means fear. Abhaya, when we had the right, like in English, theistic, atheistic, it means the opposite, right? So Abhaya means don't be afraid. I'll take care. And often you see the Buddha, he's got one hand like this, and the other is down, pointing to the earth. Right? He's grounding himself, and he's channeling that energy. Or sometimes he has his hand like this. This is called Varda Mudra. It means I forgive you. Whatever mistakes you make, I forgive you, and don't be afraid. I'll take care. I'll protect you. And so we use mudras in a lot of different things. Right? Of course, in yoga, we use mudra. I've been teaching yoga for about 40 years. And I write, now I give talks different places, and I write books. So this one you already saw, but I've written other books on Chakra Meditation, Power of Breath, and the Essential Guide to Chakras. I think they sell them all here, because they're all by Watkins Publishing. So I've been writing about different aspects of yoga philosophy. And one that's not so well known is mudras, which is how I came to write this book. Mudras are used in Indian dance, they're used in martial arts, they're used in different rituals, they're used in meditation. I don't know how many people meditate, but yogis usually use this mudra, where you join the index finger and the thumb. Okay? And we call chin mudra. And you have your hands pointing upward. We say it's receiving energy. But if you sit with your hands pointing down, your fingers pointing towards the earth, you're grounding yourself. So it depends on what you need at that moment. Do you need inspiration? Or maybe I'm going through a very ungrounded period of my life. Maybe I'm moving house, or I lost my job, or I've been with a person and they left me. I'm in the middle of changing relationships. There are a lot of reasons why people are ungrounded, right? Or maybe you're just an ungrounded person. So you sit with the fingers pointing down, helps you to counteract that negative aspect. See, so when we have the hands pointing up, we call it chin mudra. But when we have the hands down, we call jnana mudra. So in yoga meditation, these are the most common mudras. But if you go to a Buddhist sangha, often they use this one. Right? This is called Bhairava mudra. Bhairava is this fierce or strong form of Shiva. Right? The energy that You want to let go of negative things in your life. You want to destroy the lower nature so that the higher nature can come up. You want to get rid of your negative qualities so you can develop some new positive ones. So this is called Bhairava. If you have the right hand on top, in some sanghas they say put the left hand on top. In some sanghas they say men put the right and women put the left. Right? So there's a lot of different ways of doing it. When you have the hands together but you join the thumbs, right, we call it Dhyana Mudra. Dhyana means meditation in Sanskrit. So a lot of people use this for meditation. Or some people use this one, right, with one hand over and the fingers sort of interjoined. This is called Ganesha Mudra. You know, like the deity Ganesha with the elephant body. He's the one that removes the obstacles. Say that you do this to remove the obstacles, but you can also see it that you do it to maybe get the lessons that you need in life. Or some people use this mudra. It's a little more complicated. You interlock your fingers, and then you release the index pointing down and the thumb pointing up. So this is called Yoni Mudra. And this mudra is very good. In yogic terms, we say it joins Ida and Pingala, the two energies in the body. Or we can say it helps the two hemispheres of the brain to communicate with each other. You know, right side of your body controlled by left brain, left side of the body by right brain. And when you meditate like this, it also helps these two energies to come together. So this is for meditation. But you can use mudras in everyday life. Right? Sometimes we say that there are different energies in each finger, and we relate them to the 5 elements of yoga philosophy: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Right? We say that all physical matter is made up of these 5 elements. It's really different forms of matter. Earth means solid matter. Right? Water means liquid. Right? You all know how to change one to the other. I think everyone has a refrigerator at home. Right? Sometimes you take water and you put it there, you lower the temperature, you lower the vibratory level, water becomes earth, becomes solid. Right? So matter is vibrating at different rates. It can be solid, it can be liquid, it can be like fire, fire could mean electricity, any kind of radiant matter, heat, light, the sun. It can be in the form of air, means it can be in gaseous form, or it can be ether, space. It can be empty space. And each finger of the hand, we relate to these different elements. So we say this is fire. Fire drives everything else. It also relates to your Manipura, your solar plexus chakra. This is air, the heart chakra. The energy of love, compassion. This is ether, quality of space, the energy of your throat chakra, Vishuddha, the energy of communication, self-expression. This is earth. See, we call it the ring finger in English. Right? See, because you wear well, traditionally people wore their wedding ring on this finger. See, you can say, why do you wear your wedding ring there? Or I guess the left hand. Because maybe when you get married, you want it to last. You want it to be grounded. You want to have a stable relationship. And that's the energy of earth. And the root chakra, Muladhara. And finally, the little finger relates to the energy of water. right? The sacral chakra. Right? Sacrum is the middle of your lower back, right? Like the kidney region. Kidney regulates the water in your body. Right? So a way to work with these energies, and also work with the energies of the chakras. Many people use mudras. A very general rule is if you join the tips, you increase that element. You see, I'm increasing the air element, or the ether element, earth element, fire, water element, or I can be decreasing it just by pushing on the back. You see, sometimes I want to increase, I need more moisture in the body. Maybe I'm getting very dried out. It happens as you get older, right? Your body dries out. Right? But maybe I have too much moisture in my body. Right? Lots of mucus. Maybe I'm retaining water. I could use this mudra. So there are a lot of different mudras that I can use, depending on what I want to do. And some of them are a little more complicated as well. Okay, this is my favorite one, and then I'll open it to questions. Okay? Is if you take your left hand and you bring all the fingers of the right hand around it. Okay, and then you take your right thumb and you join it to the middle finger of the left hand. Okay, now look at your hands. Anyone notice what it looks like? Like a conch shell? You know a conch shell? Seashell, but you listen, right? So that's the name of it. Shankh Mudra. In Sanskrit means conch. And in yoga, in Ayurvedic tradition, the conch shell symbolizes the digestive system. That digestive system has a lot of coils, like a conch shell. See, so digestion relates to fire, the digestive energy. Maybe I have too much fire. I get angry all the time, maybe. I have too much acid in my digestion. I need to slow it down a bit. You see, so I could use this mudra to balance the fire in my body. All the other elements are surrounding the fire. Okay? And I'm joining the fire with the element of space. Okay, so anyway, this is called Shankh Mudra. Everyday life. You don't have to sit and just do mudras. You could be doing them when you're walking, or maybe even using your hands to recover from sitting like this all day. Right? Even people who are good yogis, because I train yoga teachers, and we tell people to practice for an hour every day. And even people who do that, which isn't many people, but there are some, but then they go and they do this posture for 6 hours, and the hands are like this. So that's why in my book, the first chapter is only hand exercises, hand, arm, wrist, and shoulder, to counteract some of those problems. Because you sit like this all day. When do you ever go like this? I mean, it used to be that waiters went like this. They were the only people. But now, because of health and safety regulations, they're not allowed to anymore. So everyone sits like this. And our hands are becoming more and more tight. People are having more problems with repetitive stress injury, carpal tunnel syndrome, bursitis, means inflammation of the joints, right? And just general arthritis and problems with the hands. So one thing you can do, if if you're sitting at your desk. Every hour or so, remind yourself to take your hands off the keyboard and just go like this. Take the tip of your thumb and rub it against the tip of your fingers. Okay, this refreshes your eyes because you've been looking at the screen for a while. Refreshes your brain. You can do it for 1 minute and then go back to your keyboard. Or you can take your nails and just rub them. Has anyone heard of an Indian teacher called Swami Saradananda? He comes to London every summer, but he only speaks Hindi. So only Indian people go to his class. And he usually gets about 1,000 people in the class. And you pay by how close to him you are. Anyway, he tells people to do this. He says it energizes your brain and it makes your hair beautiful. So you know it works because Indian people have beautiful hair. And sometimes if you you go on a bus, you'll see there are always Indian ladies sitting like this. But you can also do it just sitting at your desk. And it brings prana, brings energy to your brain. Right? Also, you might want to take your hand, take your thumb and the 2 fingers next to it, and squeeze between the web between your thumb and your index finger. Does it hurt? Some people it hurts a lot. If it hurts a lot, means you better do this. Okay? Because we hold a lot of tension between our hands. Now this is a very important pressure point. This relaxes you. If you have insomnia, you can do this before you go to bed. You can also do it before you go to the dentist. It helps to relax you. Right? So this is the most important one, between these 2 fingers. But it's also a good idea to rub between all of the fingers, in the web between the fingers, because most people hold a lot of tension between their fingers. Do between each 2 fingers. Really pushing as hard as you can. And then using your breath, you inhale, push your finger back, hold it, and release, exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. And you can do both hands. Right, then do the other hand. Okay, this helps to keep the fingers flexible. Okay, and then take the 3 middle fingers and rub between the bones of the hand. Okay, very gently. You don't have to press hard, but this actually helps to regulate the blood pressure. If you have problems with high blood pressure, this is very good to do every day, both hands. And then, of course, just shake them out. Okay. So imagine, see, not like this, but imagine that your hands aren't really connected to your arm, except by a little skin, but otherwise, really let them flop around. You see, so a lot of people can't do this. I once went to a class in India we had to do for half an hour before we could start practicing. Okay, so this releases the tension in the hands. And also, right, you're releasing the tension in the hands. And maybe you want to just reach behind your back. You can do this when you're standing in a queue. And just hold your opposite elbow. See, this pulls the shoulders back, because you sit like this all day. And then do the other side as well. And join the hands and just push them out and stretch up. Okay, so these are simple exercises just to bring flexibility and bring some energy to your fingers, your hands, your wrists, your arms. This is the first chapter of the book. And when I was writing it, I said to the publisher that I think that that might be, for most people, the most important chapter, because it's for everyone who works at a computer, which nowadays is everyone, just about. Right? Okay, this mudra, if you just take your index finger and push down on your thumb. Okay, if you're the kind of person who tends to get angry a lot, this reduces the fire element. In other places. Also, some people meditate like this. So you take each hand and make a gentle fist and then have the thumbs up. Okay? You could do this. Or interlock your fingers and then interlock your fingers so you have the right thumb pointing up, and then you see the left fingers come around. So this is also increasing the fire element. I was going to show you one more. If you take your thumb and you push on the nail of your middle finger, okay, this is called Nivedana Mudra. What it means is that you're trying to increase communication, because this middle finger relates to the throat chakra and to the element of communication. You know, when people say, I want to communicate more, usually means they want to talk more. But a lot of people need to actually listen more. Right? So sometimes if you're having an argument with someone, you know, a lot of times we're so caught up in our own point of view that we don't really listen to what the other person is saying. And I think a lot of arguments are just that people aren't listening to each other. So you could hold this mudra. The person wouldn't even have to notice you're doing it. And you really try to listen to what the other person is saying. So maybe it would help you communicate better. Because what you're doing is you're joining the energies. Right? So it's not like you really have to push hard. Right? The only time I mention pushing hard, is when you're trying to release the tension. But when you're doing the mudras themselves, you don't need to push hard. Just very gently. Okay. Anyway, so any other question?
If we practice more with the right hand or left hand, is there a difference? Or?
Yeah, there is a difference. We say the right hand is your masculine side. Now everyone has masculine right side and left side, obviously. So the right side is controlled by your left brain, which is rational, mathematical. It breaks things into parts and analyzes them. Right? Whereas your left side, we say, is the feminine side, which is more intuitive. It doesn't break things into parts. It's more holistic. It's more emotional. It's more spatial. It deals with space rather than mathematics or words. Right? So we have different energies in the different sides of the body also. This is why if you go to a yoga class and they tell you, we do this mudra, which is called Vishnu mudra. Right? And whenever you do breathing exercises, you use this mudra. But you always use your right hand. That's the other one.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry? No, it doesn't make any difference because your body is still anatomically the same, isn't it? I mean, left-handed people don't have their heart on the right side. Left-handed just means that your left side is stronger.